Hey everyone, welcome back to another Today in Tarkov, our weekly video where we get you caught up on everything that's going on in Tarkov. We had an interesting wrap up of the week, one that I've spent quite a bit of time this weekend along with some others trying to get my head wrapped around to give you guys the best bit of information. BSG changed some things with lab cards and they tweaked the mechanics around movement, and the community has essentially come apart at the seams. So let's get into the details, we'll get you filled in and caught up, and hopefully educate you a little bit on what's actually going on. Okay, so the first thing is they added access cards back to the flea market. So you can buy them, you can sell them, they're all over the place. We've seen prices go as low as 150 all the way up to like 185. I think they're going to continue to get more expensive. I'm not 100% sure on that, but we've seen them tick up over the weekend. Just remains to be seen what happens through the rest of the week once we get through kind of the weekend rush. But as you can see right there, I just listed for one. It's up, it sells, they're on the market again. Now, one of the bigger change, the one that stirred everything up, was BSG's tweet and change Friday morning on the 12th. The tweet reads, new balancing changes to Escape from Tarkov reduce the effect of strength skill on walking speed, and then also significantly reduce the effect of the strength skill on inertia.
I mean, he's gonna talk about it, but this is the one I'm talking about. They act like they're like actually, sharing, but they don't actually tell you exactly what's happening. Reduce the effect of strength skill on walking speed. I mean, that's not actually. It's not like that vague. Significantly reduce the effect of the strength skill on inertia. Okay, let's watch it.
Inertia. Now, this is pretty cryptic. It's kind of hard to understand what they meant, and it very quickly got a lot of people spooled up because people were thinking it was more inertia. Some people thought it was less inertia. The opinions were all over the place. So Jesse Kazam, another content creator, reached out to the guy that Apple, the people that deals with communication back and forth, and asked to clarify. And this is what Apple had to say.
Yep. Apple is the guy who tells me to delete that part or this part on my videos because they don't like. It's like cheater clips.
PMCs at lower levels.
To be honest, it was only the cheater clips they asked me. Whenever I said bad things about like BSG or whatever, they don't actually ask me to delete it. Guys, there's some misconceptions. Some people are saying that BSG is such a dominant guy who does they try to crowd control the content creator stuff. But it's only the ones that cheater clips are related. That's the only one. That's the only ones they actually ask me to delete the clips. They don't tell me to randomly delete the clips. It's always the cheater-related clips, which is totally understandable in my opinion. I mean, I did rant about it like a few months ago. Actually, not a few months ago, maybe a year ago or whatnot. But as more and more I think about it and I learn more, by year. I think it's only them trying to be rational about cheater clips. Well, even though there's tons of cheater clips out there in YouTube floating around and they don't get copyright striked or they don't get taken out. But yeah, at least they're telling me what to do these days before they copyright strike me. The last one, even though it already got 100k views, and then the first one I already got 100k views, and then the 100k view wasn't increasing anymore, but they suddenly copyright striked it after 10 days or whatnot. Or maybe it was opposite of whatever. That video just banished, and after that I tried to be respectful and asked them can you guys tell me which part is not really acceptable, and they didn't answer me. But there was a latest video that I did where I show the ricochet of Scab killing himself, and at the first part of the video I showed the ricochet cheat that Landmark already showed in his stream, and somebody clipped it. Anyways, I showed that, and Apple kind of contacted me to erase that part or whatever, so I erased it, and we were all cool. Anyways, yeah, I just wanted to say that real quick.
Of strengths will have a little bit faster walking speed. PMCs at lower levels of strength will be less affected by inertia. The goal was basically equalizing the effects between high and low levels of strength on inertia. So that's great. Supposedly this cleared things up a little bit. Unfortunately, we very quickly got info from the data miners, which was the other thing I was going to show you here. That was indicating that we got much different, basically the opposite. The data miners, the info they pulled says that walk speed was reduced by almost 17%. And then a statistic called inertia limit step was reduced by 75%. But here's the problem, is I have yet to see a convincing or well-backed up explanation of what this second stat is or how it affects it. Now, my personal take, I played all day after this change and I didn't notice anything myself. The game felt the same. The movement felt the same. But I don't run around with a heavy backpack all the time. If I'm overweight, I'm usually headed for extract. I'm not fighting. I'm not trying. I hate being heavy. So if I get into a fight, I'm usually throwing my bag on the ground or I'm getting rid of gear. So unless I'm headed for extract, I'm not overweight. So I will fully admit this probably impacts me less than some other players. I also logged into one of my other alternate accounts. It's just a base level. It's low level. It's not level 0, but it has like level 4 strength on it. And I didn't notice anything jumping out at me either. I ran around really overweight. I ran around with...
I actually want to talk about this part where Airwingmarine talks about like he has a play style where he doesn't get really like a big holder or like he has like bunch of stuff before he extracts. That's how I play too. Like, I mean, like the guys who plays really good the game and like claps everyone and gets everything, you know. That, I guess, like, I understand the part why people talk about the weight system is shit and inertia is shit and everything. But as a player who doesn't really hold a lot of stuff and tries to get out as quick as possible, like, I think we gotta respect both sides, becoming a Giga Chat and holding everything from their kill, or just the guy who wants to just survive. But, like, in my perspective, I'll talk about it real quick. I think the game is all about, you know, survive and extract, as the game indicates, not like kill everyone and get rich. I mean, that's also a play style, but the whole concept of the game was like survival and extract. It was like heavily based on that, and that's why like inertia and like being heavy gives you disadvantage made it, you know, realistic and like sensible, rational, but now they are reducing that because people are saying it's bad. I don't know. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's good because we're like trying to decrease the gap between the, you know, the hardcore players and the casual players. Maybe it's good. But again, if you think about it, isn't this game more based on hardcore players? Even though we need more casual plays for players to game to sustain. Anyways, that's just my opinion. I'm not saying that I'm right or wrong.
Accounts. It's just a base level. It's low level. It's not level 0, but it has like level 4 strength on it. And I didn't notice anything jumping out at me either. I ran around really overweight. I ran around with no weight, and it just kind of seemed the same. So for me personally, I didn't notice anything. But the problem with that is a lot of other people did. I heard opinions on everything from it feels like everybody's on ice skates and the inertia is worse than it's ever been and the game feels terrible, to some lower level players, more casual folks saying that they can run further and the game feels great. The change, they love it. And I've heard both sides of it. Now, for me, I'm pretty sure play style affects the opinion on this. At least that's a common thread I've seen. If you're an aggressive player, more of a W key kind of guy, however you want to refer to it, those folks tend to notice negative changes. Slower, more tactical folks, people like me, tended to not notice anything change at all, or even some people said it felt better. And of course, another common thread building on what we talked about kind of last week is those that are really down on the game and are really negative about it right now and not liking it, they hated it. Folks that are just playing it kind of shrugged it off and moved on. So I think the big problem here is honestly communication. This tweet was really murky. And it's led to a lot of disparate opinions, none of which are really backed up by any.
I think it's eventually the communication is what BSG does. So I always concluded with it's BSG's fault and your fault who's playing the game and who's understanding it wrongly, including me. It's me also. So the communication sucks. The guys who receives it sucks. Or maybe actually, to be honest, it's more to the BSG because they type down the stuff and we read it. Obviously, the guy who types down has more impact on how they are going to understand, how the reader's going to understand. Anyways.
Kind of science. It's all just feel. And that can be easily affected by what you read, what you see. All of those kind of things affect how we feel day to day, especially in a video game. So hopefully we get a little bit more clarity this week from BSG, though I'm not going to hold my breath on it. They tend to just kind of let this stuff sit and maybe tweak it later, depending on, you know, where they're planning on going with it. But there's one more thing I want to throw into the mix of this, you know, just to muddle it up even more for everybody is I know some folks that play on the single player Tarkov mod. Now, don't like talking about it too much because BSG really doesn't like it. And if they catch you playing on it, they will ban you. I don't recommend anybody go do it. It's not really Tarkov, but that's my opinion. Anyways, one of the things that the SPT mod allows you to do is get in and actually play around with some of these parameters. And the two that we got from the data miner specifically didn't seem, well, the walking speed did have an effect. You could see that one, though it is very small. It's almost not noticeable. But I'll take everybody's word for it that is noticing it's there. But the other variable that people changed, playing around with that by itself led to almost nothing noticeable in difference from several other variables. Now, this isn't scientific because it's very hard to test before and after, compare things on this mod versus what's live on the server. And I do believe that there is some stuff possibly that BSG can change stat-wise that, I don't want to say it's server side, but it's stuff that the data miners might not be able to see right away or even tell that they tweaked. Especially because if you're looking at the tweet here from BSG, it talks a lot about strength, and there was nothing from the data miners about strength being changed. So one possibility is these changes we saw were to kind of counteract some changes that we can't see. I don't know, man. I really don't. All I know is the game didn't feel any different to me. I actually had a great day Friday. I had a lot of fun playing the game and enjoyed it a lot. So take everything I'm saying here with that grain of salt in mind. As far as what I can say for you, go play the game yourself. Come up with your own opinion. Don't let others dictate to you what is actually going on, especially when you have such a broad opinion base on a change like this. If you don't like it, though, it doesn't hurt to maybe put a bug report in and say, hey, the movement changed all of a sudden and I really don't like it. Not sure what you guys tweaked, but it's kind of describe it as best you can. When I'm overweight on ice skating, when I'm underweight, the response time is really cruddy. And stay away from the really over-the-top, ridiculous kind of stuff like your game is trash, you're killing your game, blah, blah, blah. That you guys get it. That doesn't help. PSG just ignores it anyways. So take that for what it's worth as well. Fingers crossed. We've got the next update coming on the roadmap, and that's going to be patch 0.13.0.5, the technical update that we're going to get, hopefully some Oculus tweaks to interchange, flashlights, various other things we've talked about and stuff, but just wanted to point that out that is the next update that's hopefully coming. Fingers crossed. I'm personally looking forward to it. Just sad that we haven't had it yet, and hopefully we get it here this week. We'll see. We'll wrap it up there. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to check out my music on Spotify. Links down in the description. Helps me out if you guys listen to it. It's free. It's good music. It's
all right. Yeah. So yeah, he has a lot of good points, and he talks about the communication. And I think the communication with BSG and us is the problem, mainly. All right.